your credit, maybe by way of unexpected or required text message, for instance.
Unsolicited?
Unsolicited messages. I mean, if they take away 20 naira, I mean, to the ordinary man, it is a lot of money. But to seek redress, you have to apply to them, you have to call them, and then more often than not, there's a lot of delays and so on. It has happened to me, and it continues to happen to me. And that is why, because it happens to everybody, of course, everybody gets concerned, and government must look for solutions, and that is exactly the stage we are now.
So what kind of solutions are we looking at now?
I have mentioned, for instance, the issue of, punitive measures after we must have amended the laws to make provision for that. When you have infractions of 5 naira, 3 naira, and so on, you know that for you to seek for redress, you need much more than that 5 naira.
But there was a time when we used to hear that the NCC would fine, fine the telecoms, the service providers for, poor quality of service. And the argument then was, if you fine them and you collect the money, on whose behalf are you collecting the money? When it was not the NCC.
Maybe when the law is amended, it will take into consideration that it will not be enough to fine them. There must also be restitution to, the people who have been offended by such infractions.
Do you think that there's enough transparency from the telecom operators, for instance, when they run their promos, and then you go into the promo thinking that, okay, I'll get twice or thrice the value, and before you know it, 2 days down the line, what you would expect would last a week.
You see, there can never be honesty and sincerity in that type of thing. There can never be transparency, or may I say, there is no transparency in such promos. But these have been regulated by the NCC, and I would believe that it has not gotten to me, maybe it has not gotten to the stage that we would need, that type of amendment. Because, for instance, if there has to be an amendment, it will be proposed by NCC, which would, pass it on to me for, onward consideration of the Federal Executive Council. We have not gotten to that stage, at least as I'm speaking with you now.
All of those telecom parliaments that they usually hold, do you think that they're addressing any of these challenges that you mentioned?
Even the issue of telecom parliament is a new innovation which has been introduced by NCC, and the aim is to try to gather sufficient information for the guidance of NCC towards, bringing about, changes in their laws and regulations. That is the way I look at it.
Majority of people are very concerned about, the telecoms because it's one area where they use every day and even data as well. But then, there's a lot more to your ministry. You oversee NIGECOMSAT. We understand that right now. Are we in any plans to launch a satellite?
Well, with Nigeria, technologically, we have not advanced to that stage. What has been done so far is that we procured a satellite. NIGECOMSAT procured a satellite, and it is managing it now. But I want to tell you, there has not been enough investment, even in ground equipments. There has not been enough investment in procurement of ground, equipment. Apart from that, the fact that we have just one satellite in orbit is akin to a transport company which flies, for instance, Lagos to Abuja, and does not have an extra tire, a spare tire. If customers are aware that transport bus or whatever plying this road does not have a spare tire, of course there will be loss of confidence, because you know that along the line when you have a tire bus, you are stuck. The same with NIGECOMSAT. Today NIGECOMSAT has just one satellite in orbit. The first satellite actually crashed before this replacement, and that's why you have NIGECOMSAT 1R, that is replacement. Thank God for the past 7 years or so, this sole satellite is working. But I'm not satisfied, because I know that the soleness of it, the fact that it's just one, make a lot of potential customers, including ministries, departments, and agencies, and including very big companies who patronize satellite companies, prefer to go abroad for their satellite services. And through this, we are losing millions of dollars.
But the truth is,
it
raises questions as to what premium this administration, because really what we're looking at is a midterm report of the APC, what premium this administration places on science and technology and also on communication.
Let me tell you what we are doing. If technology is such a wide thing, and we have a Ministry of Science and Tech, which deals largely with science and technology. What I'm concerned with is communication, and NICOMSAT is certainly one of the very important agencies. You want to ask me what we have done since I came on board 1.5 years ago. What in appreciation of the uniqueness of satellite communication to general telecommunications industry in any country, I have had 2 visits to China to meet manufacturers, because I felt that the best thing for us will be to acquire 2 more satellites, because it's a very big business if you succeed in having adequacy.
Can we afford it?
We even the first one, we took a loan from China. It costs, for the for the 2 new ones we are working on now, it will cost us $550 million. That's a whole lot of money if you change that into naira. We certainly cannot afford it, but there's China Exim Bank, which is prepared to give us the loan.
And you're confident of return on investment?
You see, once we get it, what I intend to do, if I remain Minister of Communication, once we get it, we will, perhaps by law, ensure that every Nigerian company analyzes what is made in Nigeria, or what is the service being provided by a Nigerian company. Because the same service that you would require or you would want to procure from outside, if you can get it now, why should we give foreign exchange to anybody looking for foreign exchange to pay for satellite communication? But until we have adequacy in that regard, it will be difficult to make such a law. I believe that it can pay itself, and I must also confess to you that even apart from the 550, which will be the cost of procuring those 2, we were required by China Exim Bank to provide 15%. That 15% will be about $30 million. That money we do not have. So what we're trying to do is to look for local investors, local or foreign investors, who bring in money and partner with us. Even yesterday, I had a meeting with one such company which is prepared and able to provide money to procure, in fact, the whole thing. If our talks go on